The day Emily accepted Ethan's confession, everyone was convinced I'd lose my cool and confront Ethan head-on. But even after the confession wrapped up, I was nowhere to be found. What Emily didn't know was that I was lying on her best friend's bed, holding her close, barely containing the storm of emotions inside me. Chapter 1. The wealthy transfer student, Ethan, was about to confess his feelings for Emily in front of the whole school. Emily had secretly told everyone beforehand, asking them to keep it from me. Little did she know, someone eager for drama had already spilled the beans. Everyone knew how crazy I was about Emily. I dreamt of marrying her for years. This time, it seemed Emily had reciprocated Ethan's feelings. Everyone was certain I'd be enraged, ready to fight tooth and nail. After all, who doesn't love a juicy tale of love, hate, and obsession? They were all waiting for me to burst in and turn the scene into chaos. But to their disappointment, even when the confession ended, I still hadn't shown up. The crowd, packed tightly together, started to lose interest. Emily didn't seem overly excited either. She clung to Ethan's arm, pulled out her phone, and found no calls or messages from me. Her brows furrowed slightly. Then she addressed the crowd. "Ethan's treating everyone to dinner tonight. Let's go celebrate." The students around cheered. That's when I finally emerged from behind the bushes. Someone with sharp eyes spotted me and shouted, "Alex! Alex is here." I knew it. There's no way Alex would stay away, others chimed in. Emily looked up, and the moment our eyes met, the corners of her lips curled into a smirk. Chapter 2. I ignored the eager onlookers and walked straight up to Emily. "Alex," she said, tightening her grip on Ethan's arm. Her voice was cold and matter-of-fact. "You can't force feelings. We've known each other for over a decade, and I don't want to say anything that might ruin our friendship. From now on, I'll still consider you a brother. If I ever need help, I'm sure you'll be there. But right now, with everyone watching, don't make this awkward. Just leave." I cut her off, took a step closer, and said, "Emily." She furrowed her brows in irritation. "Alex, calm down and go home." I smiled and removed the watch from my wrist, handing it to her. "I'm just here to return this." When she saw the watch, her face darkened. "What are you playing at? Take it back, and I won't bother you again." I looked at her steadily. "If you don't want it, then throw it away." With that, I turned and tossed the watch into the nearby trash bin. "You might as well throw away everything else I've given you, too," I said, then walked away without looking back. Chapter 3. Emily stood there, watching me leave until I disappeared from sight. Her expression remained sour. Her friends quickly tried to comfort her. "Alex is just trying to save face. Mark my words, Emily. By tonight, he'll be regretting it. Maybe he'll even come crawling back, digging through the trash for that watch." Emily scoffed. "Let him do what he wants. If it weren't for our families, I wouldn't even waste my time on him. Anyway, enough about him. Let's focus on having a good time tonight." She glanced at Ethan, her handsome and wealthy new boyfriend, and pushed thoughts of me out of her mind. She was sure that by tomorrow, I'd be waiting outside her dorm, acting as if nothing had happened, begging for forgiveness so we could go to class together as before. Chapter 4. By the time I reached the riverside, it was pouring rain. I stood there with an umbrella, thinking about the dreams I'd been having lately. In those dreams, I was devastated by Emily and Ethan's relationship and accidentally fell into the river. When I fell, I injured my spine, almost lost my life, and ended up permanently disabled, unable to walk again. But in the end, Emily never came to visit me, not even once. I was adopted by the E family, and when they saw me in such a state, they decided I was no longer of use to them and sent me back to my biological parents, who were cruel and abusive. My life spiraled downward, and I died a miserable death. After I died, it was the person I'd always kept at a distance who collected my remains. Emily, on the other hand, was happily married to Ethan and never gave me a second thought. Everything in those dreams had started to come true in real life. If it weren't for those dreams, I'd probably be desperately calling Emily right now. I was grateful for those dreams. They felt like a chance at a new beginning, an opportunity to change my tragic fate. On the third try, I finally got through on the phone. I held it tightly to my ear, and after a moment's hesitation, I said, "Luna?" The rain drowned out most sounds, but I heard Luna's tired voice softly reply, "Alex? What's up? It's raining really hard, and I'm stuck by the river. Can you come pick me up?" Chapter 5. There was a brief silence on the other end. I gripped the umbrella handle nervously, waiting for her response. In my dream, when Luna collected my remains, she had cried. Her tears fell onto my decaying body, and even in the dream, I could feel the heat of her sorrow. Later, she kept a small vial of my ashes with her and lived alone for the rest of her life. Just thinking about it made my throat tighten. Finally, Luna spoke. "Why do you sound so down?" "I didn't say I wouldn't come." Embarrassed, I asked, "So, when will you be here?" "Wait for me. I'll be there in 20 minutes, she replied. "Okay, I'll be waiting, Luna." She hung up without another word. 15 minutes later, I gave my umbrella to a mother and child taking shelter from the rain. So, when Luna arrived, I was soaked to the bone. She got out of the car, her lips pressed into a thin line, her expression icy. I pushed my wet hair out of my face and gave her a weak smile. "Luna, you're right on time. You could have caught your death out here, you idiot," she snapped, grabbing my arm and pulling me into the car. She tossed me a towel. "Dry off. Don't get the seats wet." She glanced at me in the rearview mirror and told the driver to head back. I dried my hair, then Toto looked at her through the window's reflection. When she wasn't smiling, she always seemed so distant and unapproachable. A lot of guys at school liked her, but none of them had the courage to confess. She was Emily's best friend and roommate. I used to visit their dorm all the time to help Emily with things, and every time, Luna seemed to dislike me. Even now, despite coming to get me, she still acted cold and aloof. There was no sign that she had secretly liked me all along. I shook my head. So much from my dream had come true, but now, thanks to the changes I'd made, things were different. Did Luna still like me? If she didn't, was I just causing her trouble? She suddenly asked, "Going back to the dorm?" My heart skipped a beat, and without thinking, I said, "Yeah, to your dorm." Chapter 6. Luna burst out laughing. "Emily's not coming back tonight. You won't see her even if we go." I replied awkwardly, "I know. I'm not looking for her." Luna turned to look at me, exasperated. "Are you using me in your little love drama?" Her eyes were deep and filled with so many emotions. Suddenly, I felt a pang of sadness. I sighed and said, "Luna, after today, my roommates have been teasing me nonstop, calling me a loser. I'm thinking of renting a place tomorrow. Do you think I could crash on your couch for just one night? Of course, if it's not convenient, I'll find somewhere else." Luna didn't say anything, but the car kept heading towards her dorm. Chapter 7. I followed Luna into the dorm. She handed me a towel from the closet. "The bathroom's over there," she said. After I showered, I quickly put on a hoodie and came out, looking for a hairdryer. Luna was sitting on the couch, eyes glued to the TV. She glanced at me briefly, then looked away. I walked past Emily's usual spot and sat down next to Luna. The scent of her shampoo and body wash filled the small space, creating a charged atmosphere. Luna stood up, looking a bit flustered. "It's stuffy in here. I'm going to the balcony for some air." She left the room. I looked around curiously. The TV was playing an old cartoon, and the coffee table was neatly arranged with books, a laptop, and her phone. Everything was in its place. I was about to take a closer look at a small ornament on the table when Luna's phone started ringing. Emily's name flashed on the screen. I didn't answer. The phone kept ringing. I called out to Luna. "Luna, Emily's calling." Without hesitation, she came back, picked up the phone, and silenced it. I scratched my head, feeling awkward. I accidentally got the couch wet. I might have to sleep on the floor tonight. Chapter 8. Luna looked at the wet spot on the couch, then handed me a hairdryer. "Just sleep in my bed tonight," she said softly. "What about you?" I asked. She pulled over a chair. "I'm going to binge watch some shows." "Okay," I said. Luna grabbed her headphones, and just as she was about to put them on, my phone rang. It was Emily. I answered, annoyed. "Emily, what do you want?" Luna frowned, but didn't say anything, just turned back to the TV. Emily said, "I heard you went to our dorm. I'm warning you, stop clinging to me. The more you do this, the more I'll hate you." Before I could respond, Luna suddenly stood up, straddled my lap, and wrapped her arms around my neck. I instinctively tried to push her away, but she leaned in close and whispered in my ear, "Alex, tell her you're here for someone else." Her touch sent shivers down my spine. I looked at her, and her eyes were filled with a mix of determination and something else. I cleared my throat and said, "Emily, stop kidding yourself. I'm here for someone else." As soon as I said that, Luna grabbed my phone and tossed it aside, then buried her face in my chest. In that moment, all rational thought went out the window, and I gave in to the intense feelings between us. Chapter 9. Luna shifted in my lap, and the tension between us reached a boiling point. Between breaths, she said, "If you didn't want this, why did you kiss me?" She tilted her head, her forehead resting against mine. I closed my eyes, trying to regain some control. "Luna, She cut me off. "And you call that a kiss?" My lips are swollen. I gently placed my hands on her waist. "I'll be more gentle this time," I murmured. Our kiss was long and passionate, but towards the end, I lost a bit of self-control. She playfully hit me and bit my lip. I could feel her heart pounding as much as mine. Suddenly, she pulled away. "I'm going to take a shower," she said, her face flushed. She quickly stood up, avoiding my gaze. "You go to sleep." Before I could say anything, she rushed into the bathroom. Chapter 10. As the sound of the shower filled the air, I lay down on Luna's bed. Luna was beautiful, with bright eyes and a smile that could light up a room. She was the campus's mystery girl, never having a boyfriend or getting close to any guy. There were even rumors that she wasn't interested in dating. But after tonight, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Lying on her pillow, I stretched out and felt something under me. I reached under the pillow and found a pearl earring. It looked familiar. I remembered giving a pair of these earrings to the girls in their dorm when I was trying to win Emily over. I was shocked that Luna had kept it all this time. In my dream, she had always carried this earring with her. I stared at it for a long time, then carefully put it back. When Luna came out of the shower, she was wearing a soft, pale pink pajama set. Her hair was damp, and she looked more relaxed than usual. Just as I was about to say something, we heard voices outside the door. My heart skipped a beat when I recognized Emily's voice. Luna looked panicked for a moment, but quickly composed herself. By the time Emily opened the door, I had hidden my clothes in the closet and my shoes under the bed. Luna was in bed, covered up, with only a small bedside lamp on. I was hiding under the covers, and in the dim light, I was almost invisible. "Why'd you turn off the lights so early?" Emily asked, walking in. "I have a headache from being out in the rain," Luna replied, secretly squeezing my hand under the covers. The bed was small, and with Luna's long legs, there wasn't much space. I could feel her body pressed against mine, and I could hear her breathing. Emily didn't turn on the lights. She sat down on a chair and started making calls. After a few failed attempts, she threw her phone down in frustration. "Luna, do you think Alex is doing this on purpose? Ethan just confessed to me, and now Alex is acting like this to mess with me. I saw on the news that a college student jumped into the river over a breakup, and I thought it was him. But then they pulled out the wrong body. And now he says he's with some other girl and won't answer my calls. He's doing this to ruin my night." She scoffed. "I bet he'll be obsessed with me forever." Luna suddenly said, "Maybe not." Emily looked surprised. "Not? Luna, you've seen how he's been chasing after me for the past 2 years. And you've never liked him either, always giving him the cold shoulder." Hearing this, I couldn't resist gently pinching Luna's waist. She flinched slightly and let out a soft gasp. Chapter 11. What's wrong with you? Emily asked. "Nothing, just a leg cramp," Luna replied, coughing a few times. "Okay, I'll let you rest. I'll just use the bathroom and then leave." As soon as Emily opened the bathroom door, I remembered something. I had washed my socks in there and left them hanging to dry. Sure enough, a moment later, Emily came out with a smirk on her face. "Luna, did you bring a guy here? I never thought I'd see the day. Which guy managed to melt the ice around our Luna?" "Don't be ridiculous," Luna said, looking annoyed. Emily took a few steps towards the bed. "Going to bed so early? Is someone hiding under there?" Luna's voice turned cold. "Emily, stop it." Okay, I won't come any closer. Just be careful, though. I've got plenty of condoms if you need them." I squeezed Luna's hand, and she said, "I don't find that kind of joke funny, Emily." Emily seemed taken aback. "You're serious?" Luna nodded. If the light had been brighter, Emily would have seen how tense Luna was, trying to keep me still. But under the covers, where Emily couldn't see, I gently ran my fingers along Luna's thigh, and every time I touched her, she shivered slightly. Chapter 12. Fine, I won't bother you anymore. I'm staying out tonight, Emily said, giving the bed one last curious look. In her heart, she felt a twinge of disdain. Luna, who always seemed so untouchable, now didn't seem so perfect. If her hunch was right, there was a guy hidden under Luna's bed. But she didn't say anything. After all, she and Luna were still friends, even though Luna's popularity sometimes irked her. As soon as Emily left and closed the door, I threw off the covers, gasping for air. Luna, I was suffocating in there. Luna leaned against the headboard, looking at me intently. In the dim light, she looked even more beautiful, with shadows playing across her face. Alex, she said softly, standing up. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I've never disliked you. I never gave you the cold shoulder on purpose. Don't believe what Emily said. With that, she turned away. Go to sleep. I'm going to watch my show in the living room. I grabbed her hand. Luna, it's cold tonight, and the blanket is thin. But she pulled away. Emily's gone. You don't have to pretend anymore. Chapter 13, what does Emily have to do with this? I asked. Luna laughed bitterly. Why were you at the river tonight? Suddenly, I understood. Emily's earlier comment about the guy who jumped into the river had made Luna think I was heartbroken over Emily and that I had come back to her dorm just to spite Emily. I could see why she'd think that. For the past 2 years, my adoptive family, the E family, had been putting pressure on me. After they found their biological son, they wanted to send me back to my cruel biological parents. Later, they only kept me around because of my potential engagement to a wealthy family. To me, Emily had seemed like my only hope. I thought that since we'd grown up together, she'd help me. I had pinned all my hopes on her. But to everyone else, it just looked like I was hopelessly in love with her. And Luna, as Emily's best friend, had probably seen all those embarrassing moments when I'd begged Emily for attention. Luna, I want to explain, I said, but she was already walking away. Set an alarm and leave early tomorrow. You don't want anyone to see you here. I gritted my teeth. What about what happened between us tonight? What did all that mean? Luna stopped and turned around, her eyes red. I continued, I know I've been a bother, but tonight, thank you. If you really want me to leave, I'll go right now. I got out of bed, not even bothering to find my shoes, and walked towards the door. Luna watched me, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and something else I couldn't quite decipher. Alex, she said, her voice a little shaky. Do you really want to leave? I paused, my hand on the doorknob. I looked back at her, and for a moment, all the emotions of the past few hours washed over me. The anger, the confusion, the longing. I don't know what I want, Luna, I admitted. But I can't stay here like this. It's too complicated. Luna got up and walked towards me. She reached out and took my hand. It doesn't have to be complicated, Alex. We can figure it out together. I care about you. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. I had been so caught up in my feelings for Emily and my own insecurities that I hadn't really considered Luna's feelings. I looked into her eyes and saw the truth in them. I care about you too, Luna, I said softly. But what about Emily? She's your best friend, and I've caused so much trouble. Luna shook her head. Emily has her own choices, and so do we. She made her decision when she chose Ethan. And I made my decision when I kissed you. I don't care about what others think, especially when it comes to my feelings for you. I was taken aback by her words. I had always thought Luna was just caught up in the moment earlier, but now I realized there was more to it. I pulled her close and hugged her. Okay, Luna, let's figure this out together, I said. Just then, there was a knock on the door. We both froze, exchanging a worried look. Who could it be? Was it Emily coming back? Or someone else? I let go of Luna and slowly opened the door. To my surprise, it was Martin. He looked at me, then at Luna, and raised an eyebrow. Am I interrupting something? He asked with a smirk. I shook my head. No, Martin. What are you doing here? Martin stepped inside and closed the door behind him. I came to find you, Alex. I know things have been a mess lately, but I think I can help. I've talked to the elders of the Yi family, and they're willing to give you a second chance. I was stunned. I had thought the Yi family had given up on me completely. Why? Why would they do that? Martin shrugged. I convinced them that you have potential, that you're not the failure they thought you were. And also, they realized that getting rid of you might cause more trouble than it's worth. So, they're willing to let you stay in the family, but there are conditions. I looked at Luna, then back at Martin. What kind of conditions? Martin sighed. You have to prove yourself, Alex. You have to show them that you're worthy of being a part of the Yi family. And you have to stay away from Emily. They don't want any more drama. I thought about it for a moment. On one hand, staying in the Yi family meant security and a chance to make something of myself. On the other hand, I didn't want to give up on Luna, and I didn't want to be controlled by the Eve family's rules. I don't know, Martin, I said. I appreciate what you've done, but I can't just abandon Luna, and I don't want to be tied down by the Eve family's demands. Luna squeezed my hand. Alex is right, Martin. We don't need the Eve family. We can make a life for ourselves, away from all this drama. Martin looked at us, then nodded. I understand. But if you change your mind, the offer is still there. And besides, I'm on your side, no matter what. I smiled at him. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate it. With that, Martin left, and Luna and I were alone again. We sat down on the bed, and I pulled her close. Let's focus on us, Luna, I said. Let's build a life together, without all the chaos of the Eve family and Emily. Luna smiled and kissed me. I'd like that, Alex. Let's start a new chapter in our lives. And as we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, with Luna by my side, I could face anything. The soft glow of the bedside lamp cast a warm halo around us, as if cocooning us from the outside world and its troubles. A gentle knock on the door disrupted our moment of tranquility. Luna tensed in my arms, and we exchanged a look filled with a mix of curiosity and trepidation. Who could that be? She whispered, her voice barely audible. I slowly got up, my eyes still fixed on the door, and walked towards it. As I opened it, I was met with the sight of Emily, her eyes red, rimmed, and her face pale. She looked from me to Luna, and a pained expression crossed her features. Can we talk? She asked, her voice hoarse. Luna stood up and walked over to us. Emily, she started, but Emily held up her hand to stop her. I'm not here to fight, Luna. I need to say some things. I stepped aside and let Emily in. She sat down on the edge of the bed, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Luna and I remained standing, waiting for her to speak. I was wrong, Emily finally said, looking up at us. I thought I wanted Ethan, but I was scared. Scared of what our families would say, scared of going against the norm. But when I saw you two together, I realized what I had lost. I realized that I had been in love with you, Alex, for a long time, and I was too afraid to admit it. I was stunned. I had never expected Emily to say something like this. I looked at Luna, who seemed equally shocked. I'm not asking you to choose me, Alex, Emily continued. I know I don't have the right to. I just wanted you to know how I feel. And Luna, I'm sorry. You're my best friend, and I betrayed you. I hope you can forgive me someday. Luna walked over and sat down next to Emily. She took Emily's hand in hers. Emily, I'm sorry too. I should have been more honest with you about my feelings for Alex. And of course I forgive you. We've been through too much together to let this come between us. Emily smiled weakly. Thank you, Luna. She then looked at me. Alex, I hope you and Luna will be happy. You deserve it. With that, Emily got up and walked towards the door. Before she left, she turned around one last time. Goodbye, you two. And then she was gone. Luna and I were left standing there, in a silence filled with 1,000 unspoken words. Finally, Luna walked over to me and wrapped her arms around my neck. Well, that was unexpected, she said, trying to lighten the mood. I smiled and kissed her forehead. Yeah, it was. But you know what? I'm still here with you, and that's all that matters. Luna nodded. Let's go out, Alex. Let's start this new chapter of our lives right now. So, hand in hand, we walked out of the room, ready to face whatever the future held for us. The halls of the Eve family mansion seemed different now, less imposing and more like a place we were leaving behind. As we stepped outside, the warm sunlight hit our faces, and I took a deep breath. We decided to go to our favorite park, the one where we had spent so many carefree afternoons together. As we walked along the paths, we talked about our dreams, our hopes for the future. Luna wanted to start her own art studio, and I told her I would do everything in my power to help her achieve that. As the day wore on, the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. We sat down on a bench, watching the sunset, and I realized that this was what happiness felt like. With Luna by my side, every day was a new adventure, and I couldn't wait to see where our journey together would take us.